Wednesday, November 7th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Most of you probably know that I'm away on a break for the whole week. I didn't make a video yesterday, but I made one on Monday. I'm with my wife, my sister, and my nephew. We've come to Tenerife, which is one of the islands off the west coast of Africa, one of the Spanish islands there. And we actually arrived in the south of the island on Sunday, and we took a car or a cab all the way up to the other part of the island, to the north of the island. A very interesting place. Volcanic island. The south is completely different weather. We had to drive over an hour over very tall mountains. I think at one point we went through a pass and it was over 3,000 feet. So it was an interesting place. Been playing some golf with my sister and my nephew. My wife's been driving one of the buggies, the golf buggies. She doesn't play. Today we took a break from the golf. We're going to play again tomorrow and Friday. And I have been following a little bit what's been going on. The midterm elections in the U.S. Surprising. I'm surprised that the Democrats have gained control of the House of Representatives. The Republicans have kept the Senate. And I see here now that on Zero Hedge, President Trump is saying, it says Trump declares victory as he faces 2-year struggle with House Democrats. So how has that affected things? I think for the markets, it wasn't the worst outcome. I think the worst outcome would probably have been if the Republicans had lost control of the House and the Senate. But as it is now, as the Republicans still control the Senate, it's kind of a gridlock, and the markets don't dislike that. It means that not much can be done probably for the next 2 years. So the market is taking that quite well. Right now, as I speak, the Dow is up 258 points. By the way, it's 3:41 p.m. London time. We're in the same time here in Tenerife in Spain. Yeah, the Dow is up 260 or 1% at 25,900. The high has been 25,914, so right near the highs. S&P is up 1.3%, 2791. The Nasdaq is up 2.2% or 160 points. So the tech Nasdaq is doing well. I see that gold and silver have done well today, even though gold is off the highs right now. Frustratingly, as usual, we got up to 1236.65 and we're now at 1228, only up a couple of bucks. Silver's been as high as 1474, is now 1461, up 8 cents. And the dollar is weaker across the board. It's down about 0.5% against the pound. The pound continues to move higher here. In the last week, it's at 131.60. Euro is up 0.5% as well at 114.80. And dollar slightly lower against the yen at 113.30, up down 0.1%. Let's see, against the yuan, it's pretty much unchanged at 691.70. So the result is hurt the dollar a little bit. Precious metals did rally, but we're off the highs. Still not going anywhere really for the moment. We really need to break, I think, just above 1242 in gold, and silver, I would say 1480, 1485 is key resistance. The bond markets, I see that the 10-year yield has dropped. It's at 319, down 4 basis points. Still fairly elevated though, 319. Italy, not much to really talk about, even though I saw that there's going to be a vote of confidence for the present coalition government. I haven't really looked into it that much, but the 10-year yield in Italy is still fairly under control at 335. So what about what's happening in the U.S.? Well, I recommend an article by Paul Craig Roberts about, and it's from Silver Doctors. I'll put it up in the description, or you can just look it up, Silver Doctors, and it says Paul Craig Roberts. This is what the election is all about, and I think he's given a good description what it's all about. And his conclusion is, my conclusion is that America is doomed. The people, with few exceptions, are not smart enough to continue to exist. Perhaps the outcome of the elections tomorrow will change my mind. If the vote goes to the establishment, all is lost. And I think that's what it's done, because they've been able to convince the general public, you know, to change a little bit, to put the Democrats in charge of the House. It hasn't been all lost, I think, as Paul Craig Roberts says, but because the Senate's still under Republican control. But I recommend the article. I won't talk more about it because I think you should read it to see, what he says. And what else? Well, Billy is not here, of course. We're going to be arriving late, probably on Sunday. I might do a video on Sunday, or maybe not, because we're going to be getting home late. And Billy will be back probably as of Monday. We'll have to go pick him up. What else? Well, we were out just about an hour ago. We were by the swimming pool. We didn't play golf today. And I was there with my wife, my sister, my nephew. He's 25. He works in Switzerland. He works as a manager in a hotel. And it's not because my sister and my brother-in-law, they own a hotel, but it's not. He doesn't work at that hotel. It's another one. My brother-in-law didn't come because he's got to run the business. They can't close the business down and both come at the same time. And it's interesting, we were having a bit of a snack by the pool, and we're talking about my sister's golf club in Switzerland. We're talking about what's going on, in the economy, Brexit, and how, most of the people within London actually didn't vote to leave the EU. But it was more the people from outside London, north of England, because the economy wasn't doing well because of the financial crisis, and their standard of living hasn't gone up. And my sister said that at her golf club in Switzerland, one of the guys that joined there years ago was the former CEO of UBS, one of the biggest banks, and he donated one of the benches they have on one of the tees with his name. But she told me that after the financial crisis, because the Swiss had to bail out UBS and Swissair, a lot of, they did the same thing. And she said that a lot of the members were really upset about that. But apparently they graffitied his bench and said, we don't want you here. We bailed you out, taxpayer money. So that was interesting to hear that from my sister, that, the Swiss, they know what's going on, and they're not happy either about the fact that they had to bail out, with their taxpayer money, had to bail out the likes of UBS. And UBS is still running, rampant, like all the other banks. That was the problem with the great crisis of 08. They saved the bad actors, and it's like the analogy is like a spoiled brat. If you spoil your children and you keep giving in to them, they're gonna get worse and worse, and that's what they've done. They've got no, the bankers and the investment banks, Wall Street, City of London, Zurich, Frankfurt. these guys have no, how can I say, guilt. They feel no guilt because they know that for our politicians, the people who are in charge, who are very stupid and they don't understand, you know, how money could be and how the monetary system could be. They don't care because, you know, if it happens again, they expect to be bailed out again. So they're continuing their bad actions through speculation, through heavy leverage, through the new leverage loans. And we are told, of course, that a lot has been done to reform the banks and that they're a lot stronger. But I don't buy into that, and you shouldn't buy into that. A lot of it has just been window dressing. They've changed the regulations to favor the banks. You know, one of them was the instead of marking to market, they can market to model, which basically means, let's say you own a house and the house in the market is worth $200,000, but you decide that it's worth $1 million because that's probably what it's going to be worth in 20 years. So you get a loan based on the million, on the model, and that's what the banks are doing. And the regulators and the central banks, they've allowed them to do that, and they've also, how can I say, change the way they calculate derivatives, and instead of accounting for the real amount of derivatives out there, they're doing the same. They're marking them to model, and the BIS helped in that, you know. So we don't really know what they're up to. A lot of their business is done over the counter through these derivatives. It's not done in an exchange, so there's no public information about it. And that's why recently the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve have warned about these leverage loans, and which are basically highly leveraged loans to like private equities or people that are doing takeovers. And of course, they've written derivatives on them, and that's how they get risky. But you know, these central banks don't care. They're just trying to cover themselves by saying that there might be a problem. So that's what I wanted to talk about, you know, today. Hopefully, I will do another 1 or 2 videos the next few days. Hopefully, you understand. I'm here for a break, but I'm not gone. I will be back next week, and it'll be 1 video a day, a couple of live streams a week. And the reason I'm not doing a live stream here is because the Wi-Fi isn't great, so I don't want to be doing a live stream and then get cut off. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also follow me on Steemit, DTube, and on Twitter. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.